Today, YieldMax Group B announced their distributions, and we will go over those. And I think you're going to be very happy about one of them, for sure. Hello, my friends. This is Legend. So, Group B for YieldMax did announce their distributions today. And today being August the 13th, and in Group B, that will be Babo, Dips, FBY, GDXY, JPMO, Maro, Marnie, Navidi, PLTY, and then we'll have the weekly payers as well. And that's CHPY, GPTY, LFGY, QDTY, RDTY, SDTY, ULTI, YMAG, and YieldMax. So let's just go ahead and jump right in there and see what they're going to pay out. All right, so here we are looking at the YieldMax distribution sheet. Now, this sheet gets sent out first thing on Wednesday morning. And if you don't already receive this, you can if you so choose. You can go to the YieldMax website, click the Contact Us, and fill out that form. And to show you what that looks like, I can go straight to the YieldMax website, and let me just show you quickly where to actually sign up to get all these distribution letters, notifications, any new ones that are coming out, and so forth. You'll get it all in your email address. So you can just simply go to the website. All right, here we are on the website. You'll click the Contact button right here. And once you go here, you'll fill it out, right? Your email, your name, and so forth. Hit the Submit. And once you submit this, then it will start sending those notifications of any new ETFs that are coming out, any distribution payouts, or any other information. You will receive that right in your inbox. So definitely do that so that you can get what those distributions are, and also be aware of any new ETFs that they have coming out. So back on the distribution list here, and this is what they sent out this morning, and this is August 13th for Group B. And we will just go ahead and start right off here with the weekly payers. So we have CHPY with 40 cents, GBTY with 29 cents, LFGY with 44 cents, still sticking around that 63%. I tell you, that one there is just pretty solid as far as that distribution rate. It loves that 60 range, right? QDTY with 19 cents, RDTY with 31 cents, SDTY with 20 cents. And of course, ULTI with, you guessed it, 10 cents. That one there is just been pretty steady Eddie, right? 10 cents every week, give or take a penny, right? And that's an 85% distribution rate. So very good on ULTI. YMAG with 16 cents, not too shabby, right? Definitely better than it has been. And YieldMax actually went a little on the lower side with 11 cents for a 43% distribution rate. Now, out of the weeklies, the only one that I currently have is YieldMax. I have been toying around with looking to get into ULTI, but I just have not pulled that trigger, as I want to see if ULTI can stick around at that $6 range, especially if the market starts pulling back. Can ULTI hang in there around that 6, or does it start dropping and then the distribution rate along with the distribution payout starts dropping? I've just seen over the past where ULTI was just on seemed like a free fall, right? That's hard to get past, but I know it has been pretty steady around that 10 cents for the last few months. And there are a lot of people in ULTI. It is growing, right? It is growing, and that's why I wouldn't mind getting a little bit into it just to get my feet wet on that. All right, so that finishes up the weeklies right here. And now let's just shoot right over and let's look at the ones that's going to pay out every 4 weeks. And we'll just scroll right on down. And you can see we've got Babo with 75 cents. That's a 62% distribution. That's nice. Dips with 17 cents. FBY 62 cents. Nice. GDXY 60 cents. That's a 50% distribution. That's nice. And JPMO with 28 cents. Then we have Morrow with a nice cool $1 for 67% distribution rate. You can't complain about that, right? That's a nice distribution. We have Marnie with 9 cents. Nvidia with 83 cents. And that's a 60% distribution rate. Very nice. And I do have Nvidia. And the other one that I do have is PLTY with $7.49. Woo! Yes, that's what I'm talking about. With 125% distribution rate. Nice. You got to be happy about that. I know I am, right? That is a very nice payout. I saw that and my jaw dropped. Wow, 125% distribution rate. Love it. So that'll be a $7.49 per share that will be paid out on Friday for PLTY. Now, in order to get these payouts, we'll scroll back up to the top so you can see the headers here. So in order to get those payouts, you would have to own those shares by today, right? Because the X date is tomorrow, August the 14th. So if you do not already own those shares, you will not earn the distribution rate for this round. Those shares that you buy tomorrow would be available and eligible for the distribution payout for the next round. Okay? Now, for these that you do have, and that X date being 8/14, the payment date will be 8/15, which is Friday. But I tell you, when you see one at 125% distribution rate, that's got to get you a little excited, right? I know it does me. Woo! Super excited, right? Oh man, I'm excited. So next week will be Group C. And in Group C, they will have those same weekly payers along with ABNY, AMDY, Coney, CVNY, DRAY, FIAT, Hui, MSFO, Nefli, and PYPY. So now that we've gone through those distribution payouts that would be for Group B of this week, let's just go ahead and just take a quick look at Bitcoin, MSTY, and MSTR. All right, so here we are looking at MSTY on the Webull chart. And again, this is for August the 13th. Now, this is after market hours. And it looks like we did have another little bit of a red day. We did drop 18 cents at a drop of 0.94%. Not exactly what we want to see, right? Not really looking for it to come down. Now, it did get as low as 1872 and as high as 1941. So, at both times, we were at a pretty low price, but also we were at a pretty nice price as well with that 1841. But we did end the day at 1901, right? Unfortunately. And that is just mostly because MSTR dropped, right? MSTR did drop, which of course brought our MSTY down. And that will also have brought down any other ETF that's using the underlying of MSTR as well. So it's not just MSTY, it would be all of those that use MSTR. And all of those indeed will be down. Now the ones that are leveraged, of course, will be down more because they are leveraged, right? So if it goes down a whole percent or something, and if it's 2x leverage, it could go down 2% for that case, right? So it's great when it's going up and you can double it up, right? But when it goes down, it hurts twice as bad. So for me, I'll stick with my MSTY and just ride it without getting into the leveraged side of these ETFs, especially these high yield ETFs. Now, we did have that red day, and the RSI2 did get down to 27.07 at the close here. It might have actually went lower since the price of the stock actually went much lower, right? So there is a point, I imagine, that it might have been below that 10. And if you saw it, you could have probably picked up a share or two, right? At that 1872 range. Now, I did not necessarily see it because I normally don't get to see these until either the end of the day or somewhere in midday. I might take a look and see if I need to buy or sell or roll a put or something like that. And speaking of rolling a put, I did end up rolling my MSTY $20 put that was to expire on Friday. And let me just show you that by turning on my account here. So let me do that. Okay, so I did turn it on so that you can see that I did roll that $20 put. I rolled it down to what I was telling you from the last video. I was able to roll it down to $19 and out 1 month, right? That's that third Friday, just like I said I was going to do. And for this move, I made about 40 bucks. Not too shabby at all. And I can show you that order here. So let me just open that order up. All right, so here's that order that I did get filled. And you can see this is the MSTY right here. And it ended up selling my new position at $1.08 is what I earned. And I, of course, had to buy back my previous one. And I had to pay 67 cents to buy that back. So the difference being 41 cents, right? And that is what I had put in for that order. And of course, I do have to pay a little bit of a fee to do so, but it's just pennies really with Webull. So I'll still make 40 and some odd cents to make that trade that I did make. And you can see it is filled, so those are finished trades. And there's that amount that I did make. Now, while I've got my order pulled up, and we haven't gone through MSTR yet, but you can see that I did have a stop on it, right? And I had that stop limit order for 389.09 to 389.05, right? So there's my limit price, and that's my stop price, right? So when that price was coming down, it actually triggered this 389.09, and then this price just says that I'm not willing to sell it less than this, right? So if it goes to market, and otherwise, if the price of MSTR got down to 389.09, then it will trigger it, go to market, and at market, then it will state that I do have a limit on it, and I am not willing to sell any less than this 389.05. So when it did trigger, it actually looks like it gave me an average price of 389.10, right? So it actually gave me a penny more than what my stop was. But that price had to have gone down to at least this price for it to trigger. It just happened to must have popped up just slightly, and I got about a penny better than what that stop was. And we'll take a look at MSTR and see where it's at currently and how far it did go down. And you can see I also had a stop limit on Walmart right here of another trade that I actually had. Now you can see I also had that stop and limit price here, same as before, and I usually keep mine pretty tight, right? And you can see it triggered it, and it must have popped up just slightly after triggering it because it still gave me an average price of 102.04. But it did sell my shares, and I had 16 shares of Walmart and I had 22 shares of Mr. So let's just go ahead and we'll check out Mr. and see where it sets. And did my stop limit order here, did that save me from Mr. dropping on down, or did it just come down, trigger me, kick me out, right? And that's very possible, as that does happen. All right, so here we are on Mr. and you can see it did get as low as 383.55. So my 389.10, I think it's what it was. So around that 389 is what I got kicked out at. And it went as low as 383.55, right? Now, granted, it did come back up, right? And it ended up closing at 389.90, okay? But originally, the closing price of yesterday was 394.39, okay? Now, why did I have my stop at roughly that 389 mark? Well, I was using the MA5 right here as my kick out point, right? Because I'm looking at it, and if it come down and kick me out at my stop, then I am looking for that to protect me from it continuing on down. Does not mean that it will. It can come down, kick you out, and take back off, but that is part of the game. So if you look right here, that 389.05, and that's the MA5 over there in the left-hand corner, right here, this green number, and I'm circling it with my cursor here. When I hover over it, you can see 389.05, and that was my price that I had put in, right? I put in 389.05 to 389.09. So when it hit 389.09, that's what triggered it, and then it sold it, right? Now, the price for today got as low as at 383.55, so that's why I got triggered, right? And that kicked me out. But we did get that red candle today. We do have some red volume, but again, those momentum bars, they are still moving toward the positive side. As you can see on this red number right here, when I hover over yesterday, it's at negative 1.33, and today, negative 1.25. So it is still trying to move to the positive side. It wants to get there, but you look at this MACD and you really don't want it to go parallel with each other, right? I need it to cross on over. Now it is slowly getting there, but if it doesn't pick up the momentum a little bit, then it's very possible that the sellers will take over and start pushing this thing on back down. But I am still hopeful for a cross on that MACD, and that those momentum bars are moving more toward the positive side. I'm hoping to see that cross. So let's just check out the golden boy here of Bitcoin. And goodness, check it out. Bitcoin with all-time high, right? 123.5K. Now, when you see this, that is a little disheartening, right? Because you see Mr. is down and Misty is down, but Bitcoin is hitting all-time high, right? It is frustrating, but we don't know what all is going on with Mr. because they could be buying more shares, right? There could be some big selling going on with Mr. that's caused it to push down. And there could also be some shorting going on, right? That could be pushing Mr. down. But whatever it is, like I said, that momentum is not increasing on the negative side. It's actually decreasing on the negative side and trying to move to the positive side. And if you ask me, the reason why I think it's still trying to move to the positive side is because Bitcoin is moving up. But there are still some people trying to push Mr. down. So there could be some shorting going on. There could be some selling going on, as all of that could be affecting the Mr. price. But if the sellers don't giddy it on up here, then Bitcoin, the way it is moving, will eventually carry Mr. with it, right? It's just going to be too much positive momentum going on Bitcoin, because look at those momentum bars. Look at that jump for the day. What a nice green bar on that momentum side for Bitcoin. That MACD, now that's what I want to see. I want to see that MACD right here. I want to see it curl right up just like that. Look at that nice little sharp turn right up, right? We did break all-time high from over here. So we hit 123.7. And what else happened? Let me zoom in, because something else that we talked about in yesterday's video, we needed a confirmation candle to change this 117.7K over to our new support line. And I told you, if yesterday opened and closed above that 117.7, then this will be our new support line. And if that happened, we could get a nice little pop. Now, did I think it was going to make an all-time high in one day? No, but I was looking for it to start testing this 120. Well, it just laughed in the 120's face, right? And just took right on past it. It's up to 123.7. Wow, this is awesome. So we did get our confirmation candle right there. We do now have a new support at this 117.7, almost 117.8, right? And what do you also notice here? The fact that we are sitting at 123.4 tomorrow. If it stays right here for today, then tomorrow it could possibly open about right here in the same area. And that is plenty of room for it to cool off a little bit and then take back off, right, for tomorrow. And if that happens, that means it could open and close above the 120.3K, and therefore that could be our new support line. Now, that is exciting. You see in the news and you've seen articles talking about breaking that 120K, right? And now it's talking about hitting that 123. Oh my goodness. Bitcoin is on the move. So if Bitcoin can continue on, honestly, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, Mr. is going to have a hard time not moving up. And if Mr. starts moving on up, I'm thinking we might start seeing some volatility in Mr., especially with Bitcoin breaking all-time highs. And you know what's going to happen next. Misty is going to start moving back up. Would love to see it back in the 20s, right? That's my hope. Well, guys, I am super excited. I wanted to get on here earlier, of course, but my real paying job actually keeps me from getting on too early, right? So I usually do my videos afterwards. But look at Bitcoin at that 123. I'm sorry, I keep talking about it, but my goodness, that is exciting. And just the fact that that is going to carry Mr. and Misty, right? That's going to push them up. So that's what I'm excited about, because I'm ready to see Misty go. Go Misty. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.